Will you show my phone?
I said I'd show you either way. It's going to be the opportunity of a lifetime to double up through Nidus, because I'm all in.
All right, all in.
Oh! I got a lucky as hell, dude.
If you don't figure shit, I will never play Rex! We need Rex!
Oh my god.
Has no patience, look at his face and in his eyes. He's been waiting, he's been way bound to the die. Always taking chances, all those conversations. Don't know if I'll make it, don't know why he even tries. Say, oh, I am a believer. Oh, don't know how I'll be if I'm not free to take a lead. Oh, I am a believer. Oh, ground beneath my feet, but I don't flee cause I believe.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Raising the Nuts. It's been a little bit since we last talked, so I have a little catching up to do. Last time I made a video, we were in Aruba. Had a great time there. Had a nice little welcome party at the Hilton Aruba. Oh, Dan, there you go. Jersey Shore.
Thank you.
Met some good people and had some good times there. And then on to the main event. It was a $1,700 buy-in WSOP circuit event. I made it through day one on one entry on day 1B. I had a pretty good stack after day one. And then going into day two, I was 13th in chips coming in, 3 people before the money. There are 44 players left, paying 41. First place was 95,000. Unfortunately, day two did not go very well. I actually did a live stream about some of the hands that I played on day one, if you guys want to check that out. But on day two, I didn't win any hands, and unfortunately busted. I did make the money, unfortunately busted in 39th place. While we were down there, we did do a podcast for the Raising the Nuts podcast, Jody and I did, with Greg Merson. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description below if you guys want to go give that a listen. I thought it was a pretty good conversation with Greg about some different mental game type things and anxiety and stuff like that. So highly recommend you guys give that a listen. And as for now, we are now in Maryland at Maryland Live, back here for yet another meetup game. This time, going to be one of the biggest meetup games of all time, I think. It's got Brad and Andrew, Johnny Vibes, and Matt Vaughn, as well as myself. So it should be a lot of fun. Before we get into that, I do want to tell you guys that I am partnered up with DoubleUpDrive.com. If you're not familiar with that, Dan Smith, a few years ago, high stakes player Dan Smith, started a charitable drive where they do matching donations. So there's a bunch of other people involved now as well. They're going to match up to $1.5 million in donations throughout December 3rd to the 27th. So if you guys watch my content and you enjoy it, I would really appreciate if you guys would go over to doubleupdrive.com. There's 12 different charities linked there that they have, they feel like are very worthwhile charities and that they do a lot with the money that they're given. So if you guys want to check those charities out and make a donation, that would be greatly appreciated. The way to do it is go to doubleupdrive.com, click on those different charities, and it'll take you over to their website and you make the donation on their website. When you receive the confirmation that you made a donation, you're going to forward that email to receipts@doubleupdrive.com and just put in vlogger in the forward subject box. So I would really appreciate if you guys would contribute to that. That would mean a lot to me. I'm really excited to work with them and hopefully raise some funds for some great charities. And I myself am going to be making a donation based on the outcome of this session. So hopefully this session goes well and we can donate some money from this session. Very excited to see how big this game gets and get down there and get involved in the action. So we're going to head down there now. Getting things underway here at Maryland Live. If you haven't seen some of my videos here from Maryland Live, the action gets crazy, and this game has been no different. I've been at 3 tables so far. The first one, I made a new best friend. My man to my right, I don't even remember what his name was, but he was awesome. All right, we got a lot of dead money out there, and my new best friend is right here. Got involved in a couple hands right away. There's a straddle. My man to my right calls. I make it $65 with King Jack offsuit. Player to my left calls, and we get 2 more calls. See a flop, King 9-6 rainbow. Checks to me, I bet $80. The guy to my left jams it all in for $275. The guy in the straddle tanks for a while and actually folds King Queen. And then back on me, easy call for me. And the turn's a 10, river's an ace. King.
Things good.
I show my hand, the other guy's shaking his head. He's got 8-9 offsuit, so we hold up against middle pair there. Second hand of note, I have the straddle on. I have 6-5 of diamonds. The 2 guys to my right limp in after everyone else folds. I decide to check it. Flop comes down 10-9-8 with 2 diamonds. Checks to my best friend on my right. He bets $25. I make the call with the gut shot, bad gut shot, and a flush draw. And we take the turn heads up. Turn card is the 3 of diamonds, so I make the flush. He checks, I go ahead and bet $75. He makes a pretty quick call, and we're off to see the river. Offsuit 6, no change to the board for me. He checks, I go ahead and bet $175. He thinks for a bit, but he flopped a straight, so he's not folding. He makes the call, and the flush is good. So off to a great start here at this table. Third table of the night, I go to Zach Hoke's table. If you're not familiar with Zach Hoke, check out the video up here, and you can see a hand that I played against him in the first ever meetup game here at Maryland Live that was pretty special, and somehow this didn't disappoint. I cannot believe this actually just happened. Zach here,
I'm sick of not playing hands.
this is your chance at revenge.
I can't go for
Shouldn't it be an auto 3-bet?
He has the straddle on. I make it $40 or $35 with 5-6 offsuit. He calls out of the straddle. We take the flop heads up. I'm gonna bet $30.
I'm gonna look at my hands.
I bet $30 in the dark, and the flop comes King 2-3 all diamonds. Do you have diamonds?
I have 1 diamond. I thought it was ace diamonds.
That seems like it should be enough to continue then.
Yeah. I am gonna do it.
We do a little table chatter that you guys will see on here. He makes the call.
Yeah, you got 1 diamond, you
I
can't
thought I had
fold.
ace diamonds, but I have another ace. My ace is not a diamond. But I have a gutter, and I'm gonna hit it right here. Bing, hit it.
I got it now.
The turn's an offsuit 4. So we have a straight now. Most of this is probably going to be just shown on the video clip because I can't even talk about what just happened. I make a straight, obviously. I bet $100.
Yeah, dude, you're crushed. I have a straight.
A straight?
Yeah, I told you, I had ace
Oh my
five.
God.
The other one's a diamond.
I probably have a straight too.
No, dude, if you have a bigger straight, I will never play poker again.
Rex!
Like 100.
We need Rex.
River is a blank.
Give him Rex. He's out.
How much?
Get him some Rex.
I go for some value, bet $225, and then this happens. This full discussion. Just watch it. You'll enjoy it.
You might flop the flush.
Get him some Rex. He's got ace 5.
You are living rent free in this man's head, yo.
This sucks.
Rent free in his head. Tell him.
I'm thoroughly unhappy.
Are you really?
Dude, I have a straight, look.
I know you have the same. He's thinking about folding.
I might let it go.
He might let it go.
I think I should let it go. Let me count my stack.
Get him a Rex.
He's so calm about it. Like he doesn't even care.
I'm so happy that this moment's happening right now.
I'm so happy. Yeah, this is the happiest I've ever been during a tank moment because we know what's going on. It's like maximum pain.
YouTube world will see this.
I feel like it's more likely that you have a flush than that you have prior straight.
Matt for 40 limit, Matt 40
How
limit.
could I would never fold this against anybody else.
Good fold.
He's needling me so hard. Actually, it hurts.
When you make this fold, then you're gonna totally redeem yourself to the YouTube commenters.
God, dude, I'm gonna fold, dude. I think I'm gonna fold.
What?
We're gonna get a zoom in. Get a close up on what he's thinking about right
Is
now.
it gonna be redemption or is it gonna be make it 10
There's only-
times worse?
There's only, let's show the board. The problem for him is that he's screwed either way.
AT Frank, TAI 10 round 10, TAI Frank, AT Williams, Cobb, and Tom, you're 1 big limit on table 38.
Oh my god. That's disgusting.
In between all these winning pots, I actually was losing a bunch of other pots. Unfortunately, I didn't get those on camera because I suck at this. I was losing some small pots here and there, so at this point I was only up $300 or $400 between all those big hands. There's a raise in early position to $40 on the straddle. A couple of calls I call with 9-10 of clubs in the small blind. They take the flop 4 ways. Flop comes down Queen Jack 7 rainbow with 1 club. Checks the pre-flop raiser, who is Josh. He was at the last meetup game that I had. He makes it 75. Player in late position makes a call. I decided to call with the open-ended straight draw, backdoor flush draw. Can raise here sometimes, but I think just calling makes sense. Turn's an interesting card. It's the 3 of clubs, so we pick up, or the 2 of clubs, one of the 2 of clubs or 3 clubs. I don't know, one of them. Anyway, we pick up backdoor flush draw. Check it over to the player in late position who bets $170. He's got about $680 total. And so I think with the fold equity that I might have here, I go ahead and jam it in with 10 high. I didn't get my hand on this one yet. Probably should do that. Here's my hand.
Let everybody know I'm not in the hand. Oh, snap that shit.
He called. And he makes a snap call. So we're going to need some help going to this river. 10. Which does not come. It's offsuit queen. So we lose that big one there, and now we're in Stuckville. All right, so next table, fun table with good friend Nidus and Sean. This was going to be a pretty crazy table. I already knew it was going to be a pretty crazy table.
Guys, thanks. 2-5, a lot. Double tie, you know, with your bet. So, it's kind of hard to follow. See, there's too many people in the spot. I can't win.
With that board too, like, you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You got to have a really good hand to put money in the pot.
You're not wrong. I'm going to make it 215.
All right. This is going to be the opportunity of a lifetime to double up through Nidus, because I'm all in.
All in. So brutal. How you got to do it. You can show me any. I had that card too. I literally had this card.
I had nuts, obviously.
Oh my god. Oh, I had that card? Oh my god, I had fucking 7-3. I had 7-3, what do you want from me?
It was just guaranteed that Nidus and I were going to get into a big pot. Nidus just won a WPT here at Maryland Live. He's a great guy, great player, but he likes to gamble a little bit, so we were going to gamble. In this pot, there was a raise to $20, and I think we saw the flop eight ways, and I had king queen offsuit in the small blind. Flop came down king 9-3 with 2 diamonds, and it checked the Nidus on the button. He bet $125. I put it in the check raise to 300.
All right, all in. Do you have better than Jack High?
Yes. I do have better Jack High.
Do you have a pair? Okay, that's good. Diamond!
All right, baby.
Woo! I told you I'd give it back. Is this mine?
Yes. That's your 120.
Yeah.
I told you I'd get it back. Give it to you.
And we hold for that one for the double up to get back to even, because I was buried before this one. Down to about 1,000 going into this hand, so I think about even after that hand.
Well, there's a good chance that I didn't even get this hand here on camera. Let's see.
Folded to Nidus on the button. He made it $20. Had pocket jacks in the small blind, make it $80. And Sean in the big blind puts in the cold 4-bet.
Oh, just call. You don't have to 3-bet. Just call and we can see a 3-way pot. Oh my god. Oh, this is so unbearable.
Gets back to me. I don't think I can do anything but jam. He's got about, I think he had about $500 or $600.
God, I just got unstuck. All in.
All in.
Call.
Yeah. What am I supposed to
Get stacked.
do? Yeah.
Do you have a pair?
Not yet. Not yet. Okay. All right. We're in business.
10 high flop and blank turn, river jack. It turns out I didn't even need it. He had ace jack suited. So now I am actually winning on the session and about to go over to another table.
My hand.
Oh yeah, you won.
Unfortunately, at this point in the night, I stopped taking breaks to record some analysis, so we're just going to do voiceover style from here on out. First hand at my next table, I have queen 4 offsuit in the big blind, see a limp pot, and I flop 2 pair on queen 7-4. The player on the gun bets $15. The cutoff calls, and I go ahead and put in the raise to $65. The player under the gun makes the call, and the cutoff folds. The turn card's an offsuit 3. The under the gun player only has about $150 left, so I go ahead and just jam him in. He makes a pretty quick call. The river card's a 4, gives me a full house. Didn't need it though, he had queen jack suited, and we stack him on our first hand at the table. In the next hand, I have 8-6 of spades in the small blind. I promise you that is the 6 of spades. And it's a limp pot, and the flop comes king 7-5 rainbow with 1 spade. Checks around to the button who bets $20. I decide to put in the check raise with the open-ended straight draw to $80. Obviously, he can get a fold right away, and if not, I have some outs to get there. He makes the call. The turn card's an offsuit 3. I decided to go with an overbet of 260. Not really sure how much I love this, but decided to go with it. Obviously, I have a blocker to 6-4, and I still have outs to the nuts. The button makes the call, and we're going to need some help here getting to the river. The river card's a jack of clubs. That does complete the backdoor flush, and I am not going to want to fire here. I do have the bottom of my range and probably one of the few bluffs that I'll actually have, but I just think it's very likely that once he calls 260 on the turn, that he either has 2 pair or a set, or more likely that he has a hand that had a pair and a backdoor flush draw that got there now. So I don't think that he's going to have too many hands that are going to fold at this point. So I go ahead and just wave the white flag. He mentions that he feels like he should probably bet, but decides to check it back. And he has king 7 of hearts. So I don't think we were getting the fold at any point on the river there. A common theme for this meetup game was winning big pots from people that I really like. And this hand, I went out of my way to do so. Got a little bit out of line in this one. There were a couple of limps, and I decided to make it $50 with 7-5 of diamonds. And my friend Ryan makes the call from the small blind.
Legit doing this just
Understandable.
Sure, it's not the first time.
not even like a weird like want to make the vlog away. Just no weird like I want to play one hand with you before you leave.
Understandable.
Put away.
I hope you lose it.
Well, fuck.
So do your
You know
viewers.
what? All right. Well.
We take the flop heads up. The flop comes down ace 10-3 with 2 clubs and a diamond. He checks. I decide to bet $60. I'm okay with this c-bet, I guess. It's whatever. He makes the call, and we take the turn. Turn card's at 8 of clubs, so it completes the flush. I have no pair, no draw, no equity, no hope of winning this pot unless I barrel off hard. Ryan checks. I bet $125.
Probably going to make the vlog now. So basically it's one of those where you get to see it either way. Probably show you now anyway.
He thinks a bit and makes the call. The river is the offsuit 4. I still have nothing, and I'm going to have to bet a lot to try to get him to fold. I can get him to fold. Obviously, I don't have any clubs or anything, so I can get him to fold maybe a pair and a flush draw. I decide to bet $525. I thought that's actually all that he had in his stack. I didn't realize that he had a purple chip, so we actually had about 1,000 total behind.
$525.
Sneaking feeling I'm very, very bad.
You're very bad?
That sneaking feeling my hand's very, very bad. It feels so, so good.
It feels good, but it feels bad.
Yeah.
I know those type of feelings. What's this pair?
Huh?
What pair is it?
I have an ace. Come on, man, I give you food recommendations. This is what you do.
I know. Well, you know, this is what we do. It's all in good fun.
This is silly. This would be silly. This is a problem, like, you watch so many other vlogs. Will you show if I fold?
I said I'd show you either way.
Good bet.
Sorry, buddy.
That way.
I knew it. I knew it.
Ryan's spidey sense was going off, but he couldn't pull the trigger on a call. Ryan is a really great guy. He's in the military, and he actually gave me one of the coins that he received for excellence. As he said, this bluff was truly excellent. So really appreciate that gesture from him. And sorry, buddy, next time I'll have the flush.
Okay, I gotta bring my hand up here.
Over to my next table, and I have multiple camera angles for this hand, courtesy of my friend Anthony Latanzi. I open in hijack to $30 with King Queen offsuit. The player to my left, Marshall, puts in the 3-bet to $90. I decide to go with the 4-bet, have good blockers obviously, and Marshall can get a little bit out of line from time to time. He makes the call, we take the flop heads up. Flop comes down 10-8-4. I think I should actually probably just give up on this flop. He's gonna have a pair a fair amount of time and just go with it. Having the king and the queen, I block him from having ace king and ace queen. I don't know, I think a small bet is okay too sometimes, and then jamming some turns. Go anyway, I bet $180. Marshall shoves it right down my throat and I have to fold.
All in moment at Maryland Live.
He had aces, so that hand wasn't going to work out for me. Over to my last table of the night, and this hand comes against the very well-dressed and hilarious Ben Adler, who came all the way from Chicago for this game. He opened early position, I called on the button with 9-8 of diamonds. Flop came down Jack 10-4 with 2 diamonds, so flopping open-ended straight draw and a flush draw. Ben bets $40. I can go with a raise here, but I decided to just call and play the pot in position. Turns the queen, so interesting card. Do make the straight, although ace-king gets there. Ben continues betting for $100. I don't think I want to raise here and over-rep my hand. I can just call again, play in position, and value bet some rivers. River card is the queen of diamonds, pairing the board, giving us the flush. And when Ben checks, I think we just got to go for some value. I decide to make a bet of $235. Ben gives it a good long tank and eventually folds.
Flush. I had a straight on the turn though. Yeah.
Nice hand, sir.
Next hand, looking down at pocket aces. I raise the button, big blind calls. Flop comes Jack 4-2 rainbow, really dry flop. He checks, I go ahead and make it $15. And he calls. Turns in offsuit 7, bringing backdoor spades. I'm gonna ramp it up a bit here. He checks, I bet $65, and he calls again. Looking good here. Not too many cards we should be too worried about. River card's a 10 of hearts. Shouldn't really complete too many possible combinations. Maybe Jack 10 is the only thing to be really concerned about. When he checks, I want to go for a really large sizing and get as much value as we possibly can from Jack X or some other hands that might not believe us. So I bet $150, and he snap calls and then delivers us the bad news.
I got lucky as hell, dude. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Oh, he cracked it.
I'm sorry, dude.
All good, man. Nice hand.
No. There was a red. Aces.
Sorry, man.
All good, man. Nice hand.
Last hand of the night, friend Ralph opens under the gun to $20. I 3-bet in middle position with ace-queen offsuit to $70. Makes the call, we take the flop heads up. Flop is very nice, queen 7-4 rainbow. He checks, I bet $60, and he makes the call. The turn's the 9 of diamonds, bringing backdoor diamonds. He checks, I decided to bet $130. I think I actually like betting a lot larger in this spot, but I decided to bet a little bit smaller, kind of keep his range a little bit wider. He makes the call, and the river's an offsuit 4, so pretty great run out for our hand. And when he checks, I'm going to bomb it, and I bet $350. He thinks for a bet and makes the call, and I show my hand, and it's good.
That's great, huh?
I played a ton of hands at this last table because we were a little bit shorthanded for a while. I could have made an entire video out of that table alone. Ended up getting into the game for $2,000, out for $1,892, so I lost $108. I'm still going to make several donations to the Double Up Drive, and hopefully you guys will too, so visit doubleupdrive.com to do that. Thanks as always to Maryland Live for having us out. I will be back down there again next month in January for the Maryland State Poker Championship. If you like these videos, please click the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys as always. See you next time.
Say, oh.